Hi, you are on the Image Game channel. In this video, I have collected for you the 20 most anticipated games that will be released before 2025. I'll start with The Witcher 4. According to analysts, this year's CD Projekt will complete a major story edition for Cyberpunk 2077. After that, the company will focus on the development of The Witcher 4. The developers said that the next game will mark the beginning of a new Witcher trilogy, and all 3 games will be released within 6-year period. The game is being created on a new engine, Unreal Engine 5. The official teaser hinted that there will be a new hero from the Lynx school, about which there is practically no information. There is no official release date yet, but analysts believe that the release of the next part of The Witcher will take place in the last quarter of 2025. Starfield. Single-player sci-fi RPG from Bethesda with a huge procedurally generated world dedicated to space travel. Imagine the Elder Scrolls in the world of space, and you will understand what to expect. It's a huge world with hundreds of solar systems and thousands of planets to explore, all of which you can land on. At the same time, the plot part is approximately designed for 40 hours of passage. The game will develop ideas from Fallout 4. For example, they pay more attention to construction. You build your colony, and then you hire people to look after it. In parallel, you still have to tune your ship. The Elder Scrolls 6. The 6th part of the series was announced at E3 2018 with a vague teaser. It showed an unknown location and a city in the distance. According to numerous rumors, The Elder Scrolls 6 takes place in 2 provinces of Tamriel, Hammerfell, and High Rock. Hammerfell is the northwestern province of Tamriel and home to the Red Guards. There will be no dragons in the sequel, but there will be political factions and marriages. The release date of the game is still unknown. But if you rely on the Bethesda production cycle, then the release will take place no earlier than 2025. In addition, after Microsoft bought Bethesda, remasters of old games in the series, remasters of Fallout games, and a 4X strategy game in the Elder Scrolls universe were launched. The new Mass Effect doesn't have a final name yet, and the debut teaser made it clear too little. The game is still in pre-production. However, some conclusions can already be drawn. Most likely, we are waiting for the continuation of the trilogy, in which we will meet old heroes, and maybe even learn about the fate of Captain Shepard. The teaser showed an unknown planet, on which debris with the N7 logo was found. They were discovered by the Asari. There are suggestions that this is Liara, and the events take place immediately after Mass Effect 3, and according to BioWare, a team of veterans is responsible for creating a new game. Metro 4. The next part of Metro is already in development, and it will be a continuation of Metro. The Ukrainian studio 4A Games is still working on the series. There are few details yet, but according to insiders, Part 4 is already at the final stage of readiness, and it can be fully completed. This means that the announcement of the sequel could take place as early as this year, and the release could occur in 2024. The gameplay, according to an insider, will be based on the classic mechanics for this series: stealth, searching for resources, and creating items. GTA 6. Rockstar confirmed the development of Part 6 last year, but didn't share any details. According to insiders, the plot of the 6th part takes place in the modern version of Vice City and the surrounding area. One of the main characters will be a girl, and the second a guy. These will be modern versions of Bonnie and Clyde. At the start, GTA 6 will be moderately large-scale, but in the future they plan to expand it through updates. The developers allegedly want to change and supplement the game by analogy with Fortnite. The new direction and the departure of one of the founders of Rockstar influenced the game. It will be less satirical and defiant compared to the previous parts. Crimson Desert. High-budget fantasy RPG with a huge open world from the developers of Black Desert. The project is being created using a new engine, and the developers promise serious differences from traditional games of the genre. This is not a prequel or sequel to Black Desert, but the events will take place in the same universe. We will be allowed to manage a squad of mercenaries who can participate in all aspects, from crafting to protecting the player. They also promise large-scale battles and trade. Each mercenary from our gang will have its own storyline, and its passage will affect the development of the entire team. Avowed, a fantasy RPG in the style of Skyrim, but from Obsidian, with a first-person view, the events of which unfold in the world familiar to us from the Pillars of Eternity series. It looks like Obsidian is slowly making inroads into Skyrim territory. According to rumors, the game will have a large and diverse open world, 2 large cities and several small ones. Mod support is also planned. There will be many factions in the world. There will be large-scale boss battles and complete freedom of action. From the same rumors, the game should come out before mid-2024. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, one of the most anticipated games for today, an open-world shooter with anomalies, mutants, artifacts, and stalkers. The Ukrainian studio GSC Game World promises to make a large, well-developed open world and a full-fledged simulation of the world's ecosystem. The game is created on the latest version of the Unreal Engine 5, and the story content should be enough for 100 hours of research. In addition to the main story, there will be secondary tasks related to other stalkers and inhabitants of the zone. The game will continue the original trilogy. Events will unfold in our days. By this time, the zone had noticeably changed. Nature had recovered. Some fields were overgrown with flowers. Some of the locations from previous games have changed a lot. The sequel will feature factions and characters familiar to fans. The Lost Wild, first-person single-player survival horror adventure set in the dinosaur universe. According to the plot, the main character ended up on an island inhabited by dinosaurs. His fate depends entirely on the skills of survival in the wild jungle among the most dangerous creatures. Hope for salvation is added by a mysterious voice over a radio transmitter, which will give valuable clues and act as your guide. Exploring the island and stumbling upon abandoned scientific stations, you will gradually lift the veil of the mystery of what happened here. RoboCop Rogue City, first-person shooter, a new game based on the RoboCop universe. Here we have to get used to the role of a cyborg police officer and restore order on the streets of Detroit. In addition to a large arsenal of weapons and exciting shootouts, the game will also boast solid graphics and Peter Weller as RoboCop. This actor played Alex Murphy in the original film. The release is scheduled for this summer. Assassin's Creed Mirage. It will be a tribute to the first Assassin's Creed and the classic gameplay of the series, with a focus on stealth, social stealth, parkour, and clever eliminations. We can say that this is a gift to fans on the 15th anniversary of the franchise. The game will begin in 852 in Baghdad, where 17-year-old Basim trades in petty theft. He is followed by the master assassin Roshan, who in a difficult situation decides to save the protagonist and takes him to the Alamut fortress, which is still under construction, to learn the skills of the Invisibles. It is known that the world of the new game will be much smaller than in Odyssey or Valhalla. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. This is another spiritual successor to Dark Souls with its own characteristics. During the battles, it is most reminiscent of Bloodborne, since in addition to the sword, you can shoot a musket here. However, it is important to note one detail: the girl travels with a fluffy companion, which at the same time helps in battle and allows you to effectively move through special portals. It looks unusual, and the visual style itself turned out to be interesting. Miasma Chronicles, a turn-based tactical adventure game from the creators of Mutant Year Zero, also set in a post-apocalyptic universe. The gameplay is similar to Mutant Year Zero in real time. The player travels through locations and fights in tactical turn-based combat in the spirit of XCOM. Role-playing elements are also present: the study of abilities, the improvement of weapons and equipment. Witchfire, The authors of The Vanishing of Ethan Carter and The Cult Painkiller decided to return to the roots and create an old-school shooter that will rely on the player's reflexes and skills. According to the creators, in Witchfire, players will have to arm themselves with strange weapons and forbidden pagan magic in order to go on the hunt for a powerful witch who holds the key to saving the protagonist. The game will have elements of roguelite, but after death the hero will not lose all the loot accumulated during the run, but only a significant part of it. The protagonist will have a refuge hub, while the rest of the semi-open world is hostile. Inventory is unlimited, but you can take only a certain amount of equipment with you to the race. Diablo 4. The third part of the Diablo series was released back in 2013, and fans are already yearning for a sequel, but it won't be long. The game will be released on June 6 this year. The new part honors the traditions of the series, but takes an important step forward. The world is now open and is a large sandbox locations with a lot of additional tasks. Moreover, Blizzard pays a lot of attention to all missions, filling them with narrative and meaning. Even if you need to find 15 werewolf hearts, for example, they are required to study living creatures. Public events often appear on the map when you need to complete a certain task and survive. At such moments, all the players nearby, even if you are playing alone, can join and help. There are also world bosses that cannot be defeated alone. You will need help. This is a high-profile event that is announced in the chat. Dead Island 2. The second part of the shooter in the apocalyptic world. This zombie game takes place in Los Angeles. The game has a large number of weapons and types of zombies, so there will be plenty of room for replayability. At the same time, a new system of skill cards has been announced, allowing them to be used to obtain various skills/upgrades throughout the game. Dead Island 2 is not an open-world game. It has only a large area, divided into segments, and the transition between them will be accompanied by loading screens. The release is scheduled for April 21st. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. An upcoming open-world, first-person game set in the Avatar universe, which is being developed on a next-generation graphics engine called Snowdrop. It will be an adventure game in which the main character will be a representative of the Gnostics race. He will embark on a journey through the western frontiers, a previously unseen part of the planet Pandora. The project will be included in the James Cameron canon. The director himself already had the opportunity to get acquainted with it, being satisfied. The release is scheduled for the end of March 2024, but there is no more exact release date. Dragon Age: Dreadwolf. More recently, BioWare reported that the new Dragon Age has passed the alpha testing stage. According to the developers, this means that the game can now be played from start to finish. Thus, the release of Dragon Age May 4th take place in about half a year. The main villain of Dragon Age, Dreadwolf, should be the companion of the Inquisitor from Dragon Age, Inquisition Salas. It will be a traditional story RPG without any multiplayer. An important role will be assigned to relationships with companions, and the decisions we make will be reflected in the state of the world and the endings of the plot. Star Wars Jedi: Survivor. A direct sequel to Fallen Order, revisiting an exciting Star Wars adventure as Cal, 5 years after the original. Survivor has new gameplay mechanics, a richer arsenal of features and new skills. 5 years have passed since the last game. Former Padawan Cal, still on the run from the Empire. Darth Vader's bloodhounds are on the trail. He will be helped by both new allies and heroes familiar from the last part. The trailer shows that the landscapes have become more diverse, and the combat system is more spectacular. We hope that the plot and exploration of locations will also not fail. Lords of the Fallen 2. Role-playing action from the third person in a setting of dark fantasy. The developers promise that the continuation will increase in scale compared to the first part and will offer a new combat system built on the main principles of the old game. According to insiders, the game will reach the release this year. The good news was the fact that the game is being developed on the latest Unreal Engine 5. That's all. What games are you looking forward to? Write in the comments. Thank you for watching up to this point. Your like and subscription will be the best gratitude. The Image Game channel was with you. Have a good day.